Hey guys, we're back with part 3, but before we move on to NHL, just get a quick viewer email. Ronnie from LA wants to know who you guys think are the top 5 players in the NBA. Very quick.
You know, I'm going to go, I'll go back to the front. I think I'm going to go with Dwight Howard because he's that one guy that can take your team all the way to a championship. Like I said, I think you can give the ball and lean on him, and he can be their guy. He could be the go-to guy offensively, on defense, as well as he's the best defensive player in the game. So he's my number 5. I'm going to go back to number 4, go back west. I think it's going to be Kevin Durant. He's yet to prove himself in the playoffs, but I think during the regular season, he's the best offensive scorer in the game. He can play multiple positions. He's very long, he's very fast, very athletic, and has a great shot. Very clutch. I think Kevin Durant's my number 4. Number 3, this might be a little surprise, but I think Derrick Rose. I think he's elevated his game up to top 5 contention, and he's the MVP of the league this year. I think he's great defensively. Has definitely made some strides defensively this year under Thibodeau, and offensively, he's one of the best players in the game. His shot isn't terrific, but he's a very good scorer. He's a very good playmaker. I think altogether, he's a top player in this game. And the other 2 are Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. I think Dwayne Wade might be the better scorer than LeBron. I think he's the better closer. But I think defensively and altogether, I think LeBron is the best player in the game. I think he can lock down anybody defensively with block shots, with steals. Yeah, if you can lean on him to be your closer. They don't really have to as much with Dwayne Wade, but you saw what he did with Cleveland. I think he's taken all of his talents all the way pretty good to Miami. I think he can still shoot pretty well. And he's definitely the best player as far as athleticism goes. As far as leadership goes, I think he's a terrific player as well. And his leadership is very underrated. I think he's a terrific leader. Yeah. He's my number 1.
And his shots drastically increased too.
Yeah,
especially from the outside range.
Yeah,
I'll agree with you. It's just I'm gonna take Howard out.
Take Howard out.
I'm gonna put Kobe in.
All right, I like it.
I like Kobe in the 5 spot because again he is Kobe. I mean he does have help from the Lakers and stuff, and Bynum, Odom,
yep.
and sometimes Fisher.
You wouldn't put a.
I think if Howard's very serious about wanting to be a top 5 player, you need to do better than just falling out to the Hawks in the first round now.
Well, he needs
He
needs some help. I mean, who's
the second guy?
Jay Rich, is he their next guy?
Jameer Nelson.
There's a couple guys who are not on our list. You look at Dirk Nowitzki's not there.
I was thinking of that.
Darren Williams, Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, but they're all big point guards. Point guards can only get you so far.
I agree.
Derrick Rose.
All right. Finally moving into NHL after all this time. All right, we'll playoffs. Okay. So Boston. Yeah.
Playoffs.
Okay. Got a lot to talk about right here, so this will take a long time. All right, Boston, they get revenge over the Philadelphia Flyers, okay, as the Lightnings take down Ovi and the Caps. Now, thoughts on the Boston-Tampa series upcoming?
I think this is a very good battle. I think Boston defensively is the best team left with Tim Thomas, with that defense, with Seidenberg, with Ferris, with Boychuk. They're terrific defensively. Losing Bergeron for the first 2 games is going to hurt as he's their best defensive forward. But having a good backup, Tyler Seguin, to come back and be your backup and take Patrice Bergeron's spot, offensively he might be just as good, and he might be a better sniper. He hasn't had the playoff experience, obviously. I think without Patrice Bergeron, it's going to help Tampa. But if they can get, with all his rest, I mean, last time the Bruins played was last show, so I think they weren't expecting those 2 series to go that long. I think Patrice Bergeron's concussion might only go 1 game instead of 2, which is huge. And after that, if even they lose that first game, defensively and in clutch, I think the Bruins are much better than Tampa. The one thing that they don't have is up front. I think that Tampa Bay's top 3 guys are better than any one forward on the Bruins. Better than Lucci, better than Bergeron. Stamkos, St. Louis, and LeCavalier might be one of the best 1-2-3s in hockey. And I think their defense is very solid. And Dwayne Rolson, he's been tremendous in this playoffs.
Yes.
You look at their third line, their energy line, Steve Downey and Sean Bergenheim from nowhere. This team is loaded and they're ready to go. But I think the Bruins, I think this is their year. I think they're very clutch. You look at the games against Canadians when you thought they were not going to win. You see Nathan Horton bury that shot. They're ready for this series. And the only thing I hope they don't do is I hope they don't look past the Tampa Bay because they are the worst team.
Coming for you,
The
Allison.
thing is, if Tampa's going to be such a threat, like offensively, because they are. They're the biggest offensive threat left, I think. But I mean, and the Canucks are there too. But I mean, the Bruins need to be extremely like a big offensive threat.
Yeah.
Just as big on top of having good defense, because good defense can only get you so far. Thomas can only have so many saves. The biggest thing I think is Chara. Can Chara defend St. Louis? Can he step up this? Can he step up big enough in the series to defend St. Louis to stop him from being that offensive force that he's known to be?
If you were going to pick one of those three guys for Chara to lock down, who would it be?
I'd say St. Louis.
St. Louis over Stamkos?
St. Louis is their best player, I'd say.
I'd say Stamkos, but
In these playoffs, St. Louis is the best player.
Talking about this, we'll move on to what do you think is going to be the X factor for both of these teams winning? Say if the Lightning win or the Bruins win.
I got one.
What's the X factor for both
It's definitely
teams?
Tampa Bay's strength is on the power play, and I think the Bruins penalty kill is going to be the X factor in this one.
Yeah, that's what
you take LeCavalier, you take St. Louis, you take Stamkos with Rolison behind net, and that solid defense with Victor Hedman, with Matthias Uland. They're very solid over there. And on the power play, if the Bruins can get out in these first couple of games and show that they have a solid penalty kill, and maybe a power play of their own, I think that's going to do wonders for them. And if they can step up and hit Dwayne Rolison hasn't allowed more than 3 goals since the playoffs have started. And if they can step up and give Rolison a 3 or 4 goal game and give him some tough time in this first game, I think that's going to be huge. I think this number 1 game 1 might be the most important game 1 since the playoffs have started. Because with Bergeron's injury and with how hot Rolison and Thomas has gone, if one of these teams step up in game 1 and absolutely shut the other team out, maybe like 7-1, that would be huge momentum swing
for whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Tough to go power plays.
Yeah, like you said though, I think with the power plays, the Bruins need to step up on theirs as much as defend the other teams, obviously. But I mean, you need to match them in every aspect and beat them on defense. If you match them in the offense, because I mean, obviously the Lightning have us beat in offense. I think. I mean, I bet you agree. But I mean, if you can match them in offense, and I mean, if you match them in offense, then and beat them in defense, you got the series.
Yeah.
I mean, you need Thomas to be at his best. You need Chara and everyone else to be on their best.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the fact of can you stop that front line, like you were saying, with St. Louis, Stamkos, and LeCavalier. And I think LeCavalier, the name is more like important than what he's actually done.
Yeah, he's definitely the third worst.
If you shut down St. Louis, and LeCavalier.
St. Louis' speed is ridiculous.
But if Chara can shut down St. Louis, because Chara's a big guy himself, he's got some speed.
Yeah, for his size, he has speed.
Yeah, but it's just LeCav. I mean, if he chokes, and then if you have Stamkos do what he does, I mean, I still think we can beat them.
Yeah, I
think
it's
to Rolison. They need to do that. Rolison hasn't that much to worry about because they're such an offensive powerhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's getting his saves. He's having good games. But I mean, that also helps for you to want to step up more when your offense is doing more. You have more motivation to do better.
I think the Bruins need to, if they're going to let those 3 guys attack, I think that's fine. They need to shut down the Sean Bergheim and the Steve Downies to make sure that they don't have those
make sure they don't sneak in there with their
And I want Caberlet to step up and make sure that trade worth something. The Bruins gave up a lot for Caberlet, and he has done jack shit since he started. So I think Caberlet needs to step up, and if you can get a power play goal or a power play assist in this first game, I think that's huge.
I think a power play goal on their first power play that they get in the game would be the biggest motivation ever for the Bruins. That will catapult them to victory.
All right, now.
Oh wait, so what's your picks?
Bruins in 7.
Bruins in 7. I like Bruins in 6.
I think it's going to be 7. I'm looking forward to 7 games, and I think it's going to be 7 games.
Whoever takes game 1's winning the series.
All right. We'll see. All right. Moving on, back west, Mitch's Sharks prevailed, but Peps's Red Wings give him a run for his money. Now,
that was nice. I was hoping.
Yes. All right. Now, thoughts on the series and how did the Sharks almost let it slip?
The big advantage going into the series is why I thought Detroit was possibly going to win. I still pick Sharks, but I think Detroit's big thing is experience. With the coaching of Mike Babcock, getting his team motivated, and his team's very experienced, and they're hungry again since their last cup. With Pavel Datsyuk, you could see in that Game 7, I watched the whole game, he was a complete force. And when they were down 3-1 with 7 minutes to go, he came back and had a backhanded shot. That was a fireball right there. And Zetterberg, Lidstrom, and Datsyuk, I think that's a solid 1, 2, 3. And those 3 leaders, Lidstrom, this might have been Lidstrom's last game, But those three leaders got them back into the series, especially Pavel Datsyuk and Zetterberg. I think that was the big advantage. And the Sharks are prone to fading after their big starts.
Yes, they are. Yeah, especially in the playoffs.
You can see that against the Blackhawks. I think winning this game was huge, and I think the play of Joe Thornton was absolutely incredible. I thought he was shut down. Datsyuk as best he could. He was a great defender, not only
assist man too.
Playmaker,
defender, assist. Him and Chloe.
Yeah.
Chloe too. He had a very good series.
You look at Marlowe had a great series.
Setoguchi with the hat trick.
Logan Couture.
Yeah.
And Dan Boyle and on defense. Dan Boyle.
Marlowe threw in their things too.
Yep. And have you noticed how many playoff series have Antti Niemi? He's never lost a playoff series since he came into the league. Have you noticed that? He cruised last year. So if you think about it. Having that, I think that's huge. Antti Niemi, he's kind of like a Marc-Andre Fleury, like we said last show. He just steps up to come playoff time. I thought that was going to be their big weakness going into playoffs. I thought Niemi had a worse season than he did last year. But this playoffs have been terrific for him, and he's never lost a playoff series. So with the defense of Boyle and Edward Vlasic, I think they're solid.
I think the motivation to not choke again catapulted the Sharks to victory. And Marlowe I think it was Marlowe, with the big goal at the end there.
Yeah, Marlowe.
Yeah, Marlowe with the big goal.
He kind of stopped there instead of kept
the whole entire thing.
He had a great vision right there. But I think this next series with Canucks Sharks, they're both prone to losing during playoff time. So I think it's going to be an interesting series. Heatley needs to step up.
Heatley does. He only has like a few assists, and that's about it. He didn't really do that much.
All right, moving on. The Canucks took down Pekka Rinne and the Preds. Thoughts on the Sharks versus Canucks?
Yeah, I just want to go back to the Sharks real quick. Just thinking of that right now, this second, I'm thinking of how much their roster is better than the Bruins forwards. If you think about it, I mean, they got Thornton, Heatley, Setoguchi, Couture. They are absolutely loaded. The Bruins with defense, it's going to be tough. But Canucks, Sharks, I think they might be the two best teams in the whole NHL right now.
Yes.
I think you might agree.
It's good that they face each other.
Yeah. I think this is similar to an 07 MLB World Series. You saw the Red Sox when they played the Cleveland for the AL championship. I think they were the two best teams. And back in the NL series, it was Rockies versus Diamondbacks. they weren't good. I don't think looking at Lightning and Bruins, I don't think they're as good as the Vancouver and Sharks. Still going with Bruins
all
because
four
of that defense,
teams
but
are very scary. In all fairness, I think the Bruins look kind of like the least threatening.
Yeah.
Out of the four, sadly.
Yeah,
because everyone's such an offensive
but
force.
I think they just ready. They just win these. You don't think they're ready to win, but they just win. You see that with Nathan Horn. You've seen that with James Van Riemsdyk had an incredible series, and they just shut them down. But Canucks, Sharks, I think I'm going to have to go Canucks. You look at the Sedin twins, they have done absolutely nothing. Kessler has been phenomenal, and Luongo has been phenomenal. And once they get in, the Sharks have been absolutely, all of their players have stepped up. Every one of their players, except for maybe Heatley, have been playing top-notch. If any of those players fade a little bit, you got to expect the Sedin twins to step up better than they have.
They've done absolutely nothing last series.
Yeah, I think the Canucks are going to be that team. I think they are with the Sedin twins, with Kessler finally playing, with that defense. I think it's ready. I think this is their year to make the Stanley Cup. I'm going with Canucks in 7.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that too, because I think it's just going to be like an offensive.
It's going to be an offensive series.
But I think with the Sharks I think they lack some defense.
Yeah,
I'd say. I mean, I think the Vancouver front could go in and just collapse.
They're very, very evenly matched, if you think about it.
Yes. The problem is, right now, they're not, because both Sedin brothers have not done much. I mean, Kessler stepping up, I think, really bailed them out.
Yeah, he did.
In a way.
Without Kessler, they would have been screwed.
They'd be very screwed.
But,
they do the same thing with everyone else stepping up on offense also. Yeah. So if they do that, I think. If you
think about it, the Sharks face the Red Wings, and they're a very good team. The Canucks only face the Predators. I think they're a poor man's Boston Bruins. To be
but also,
honest.
Jimmy Howard is no Roberto Luongo.
Yeah. I think if you go back to X Factors in this series, I think whoever has the better series, either Luongo or Niemi, is going to win the series.
Yeah, it usually does come down to the goalie.
Yep.
All right, moving on to MLB. We have time for this. We're going to have to cut Mitch's pitch, unfortunately, and pep talk for this episode. We're going to try to keep this last segment under producer. Time left?
5.
Okay, 5 minutes. We have to keep it under 5 minutes. All right, moving on. The Red Sox facing the Yankees. How much pressure is it on the Red Sox right now to at least take 2 from the New York Yankees?
I'm glad we're
Very
talking
quick.
baseball finally.
Yeah.
I know,
very
I
quick.
feel like
Yeah,
it's
very
been
quick.
It's almost like
basketball,
baseball has been taking a back seat, but I think the Red Sox need to make a statement. It seems like they keep on getting very, very close to that 500 record, and then they take a step back. They
Yeah, and then Joe
they
Lackey
win
pitches.
3, yeah. Joe Lackey pitches, and then they lose the next 4. But I think the Red Sox they need
Every
it.
time.
Thanks, buddy.
They need to step up, and they need to win at least 2 in this series. If one of these teams sweep, I think that would send huge motivation for that team.
That'd be awesome.
But if whoever wins 2, I think that's going to be huge. It better be the Red Sox. I think they have a lot more pressure on them to really succeed here. I think Agon, who's been terrific these last couple of weeks, and back to his, he's right on pace with his numbers that everyone predicted him to be. If he and Carl Crawford step up, I think this would be a perfect series for them to both step up in the spotlight. I think the Red Sox have a chance in this one, and I think they really need to win at least 2. Whoever wins Game 1, it looks like the Red Sox should win Game 1. Whoever wins Game 1 is going to...
Red Sox
Serious.
don't need 2. They need all of it. They need the
Yeah.
sweep now. I mean, it's not like, I mean, everyone's saying, oh, it's early May, don't worry about it. But early May is usually where everything's established.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple teams that come back late in the whole entire season. But I mean, you know, the Red Sox not really notorious for doing that. They're usually notorious for either choking or staying up there.
People say right when it comes to Memorial Day, that's no longer the beginning of the season. But I think right now they need to step up and they need to be the team.
Now's the time.
The
You know,
Yankees,
if I-
all they realistically need to win is 1. If they lose all 3, that would be traumatizing right there.
Yeah.
But if they lose 1, that's fine for
Well,
the
they
for
get
the
this
Yankees.
one
Five,
pretty
two,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, the Red Sox. That's a little.
Problem is,
Yeah.
we need.
Yeah.
The problem is, where's
That
Pedroia?
bullpen?
Pedroia
Yeah.
hasn't really been there. I mean,
Agon's been
he's
their
been back
savior.
in
these last couple of weeks.
237
Yeah.
in like the month of May, and Agon opposite field power. I'm really liking the way he's doing that.
You got it all
the
wrong.
thing is, when he uses the whole field,
That
I mean, just
bullpen.
like any player, when they use the whole field, you're that much better.
The good thing about the series is
that Dan Wheeler and Bobby Jenks are hurt.
no. Listen, the good thing about this series is the Red Sox are pitching Buchholz, Beckett, and Lester.
And they're
That's
facing Cologne.
huge.
And
That's
Look at-
facing-
if you look at
they're
Beckett,
facing CC,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're also facing like
this
Who's
is
the other guy?
we're only
Garcia.
gonna be
Garcia.
able to talk about this right now. We have literally 2 more minutes
Really?
of film left.
All right, so yeah, I think the Red Sox they need to win 2. The Yankees
Yeah.
need to win 1.
they need the sweep, and I mean, they just need everyone to keep doing what they're doing, and Pedroia to step up.
Yep.
The pitcher do well,
I agree.
honestly.
What do you
And
think?
as long as Joe Lackey doesn't pitch.
Very quick. What do
Yes.
you think about Jose
Keep him up.
Batista and Agon right now?
Yeah, Jose Batista, so much for no slump. That guy is a terrific hitter. 350 average.
Yes. Oh,
Lead
my God.
tied with Granderson with
Yeah.
the lead with
And
11.
he's been injured for some games also.
Yeah, and Agon after that after that terrible
8 home
start,
runs now.
Back
8 home
4-10
runs,
in
another
May.
home run today.
Triple
4-10
crown
in May.
contender?
Yeah, I think Adrian
Awesome.
Gonzalez has a better chance for the Triple Crown just because of average. I think Jose Batista, that average will come down.
Home run, Curtis Grant.
And I think the problem is Adrian Gonzalez has a much better lineup around him, so he's going to get more RBIs. He leads the league in RBIs. Jose Batista, if there's going to be one category for him to lose, it's RBIs because of that lineup around him. But I think Adrian Gonzalez, I don't think he's going to win Triple Crown, but he is definitely a Triple Crown
No one
contender.
ever wins Triple Crown except Yaz, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all we have for this long edition of The Pitch. We'll see you next week, guys.
Adios.